What's up, guys? I have another video here for you guys. So this one's going to be about an important concept in real estate called having two things, knowledge and guts. Because if you have just one of them, then it's not enough to be a great real estate investor. You really have to have both knowledge and guts. So let's talk about knowledge first. I mean, you guys already know to gain knowledge in real estate, there's a lot of free resources out there. There's podcasts, there's books, some great books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. There's Think and Grow Rich. There's a lot of books out there and YouTube videos, of course. So that's why I'm kind of creating these YouTube videos to help you guys. And then Bigger Pockets has a lot of great resources as well. But I would really recommend if you want to, make the process go a lot quicker for yourself, to save a lot of time, you should be hiring a mentor, a real estate mentor who you can relate with and who has specialized knowledge in the area of real estate you want to get into. So like, let's say you want to do fix and flip, then you'll hire a mentor who's done 10 or 20 fix and flips, right? If you want to do multifamily, obviously you would hire a mentor who specializes in multifamily. And you want to make sure you do the research on this person to make sure they have a good track record before you invest with them. So the next thing is guts. Guts is really important because any type of investment involves risk. A great example of this is Tesla stock, right? People invested in Tesla stock. There were a lot of people who short sold the stock, and they ended up owing, thousands of dollars because they didn't predict that the stock would go up as dramatically as it did. So they had to buy back their shares, and they suffered a pretty big loss. So you have to be willing to take risk, but you take calculated risk. And that's why I believe it's so important, of course, to have the mentor to show you what makes a good deal, what makes a bad deal, and to mitigate your risks and help you put processes and systems in place to make sure when something does go wrong that it's taken care of immediately and pretty much automatically. So a couple of things you can do to help with the guts aspect is working on your mindset. So this involves visualization. You could read some books about the subject. There's something called Tapping for Wealth. There's another book called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And you can, do these mindset exercises. One of them, a popular one, is called affirmations, where you say things out loud and tell yourself, it basically tells your unconscious mind that you are this type of person. So an example of this, of an affirmation would be, I create the life of my dreams. Things like that. You say those statements out loud, and it's called the power of positive thinking, but it really does work for mindset. So this next thing is called ready, fire, aim instead of ready, aim, fire. So basically, you just get in there, and then you figure it out along the way. So instead of trying to aim it perfectly and get a straight shot, instead you should just try to get as close as you can to the target and then adjust along the way as obstacles come up. So that's called ready, fire, aim. So this next part is key. It's very important to have both knowledge and guts, because if you have too much knowledge, or a lot of knowledge, but no guts, then you end up in a stage called analysis paralysis, where you have a lot of knowledge about all these things, wholesaling, fixing and flipping, apartments, and you just jump from one to the other, or you're stuck just trying to figure out which one will be best for you, and you never make a decision. So that's having too much knowledge and no guts. The other problem is if you have guts, but you don't have any knowledge, then you invest in a deal that will potentially lose you a lot of money. Maybe you invest in a really old house and it has a ton of repairs, maybe tens of thousands of repairs you have to make, and you don't want that happening either. So it's important to have both the knowledge of what makes a good deal and having, the guts. So just to recap on guts, everything any success in life requires a degree of risk. So an example of this is dating. In order to, find a girlfriend or boyfriend, you have to go on dates. But when you ask a girl or boy out on a date, you risk a couple things. You risk being outright rejected, you risk being friend zoned, and you risk the person ghosting you and never seeing you or talking to you ever again. Because maybe they feel awkward hanging around you when they know you have a thing for them, right? So the thing is, if you never ask anyone on a date, obviously you're never going to end up with a boyfriend or girlfriend because you're not taking the risk. But the people who do say, okay, you know what, let me just put myself out there. If I fail, then that's fine. I'll adjust along the way. The whole ready, fire, aim part. And then eventually I will find a good girl or good boy for me, or who takes care of me, right? So that's another reason why it's really important to have guts, because you need to be able to accept that there's always going to be risk, and in order to become successful and a successful real estate investor, you need to be willing to take that risk. That's it for now, guys. Feel free to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can post them on the Facebook group, Newbie Real Estate Investors, and I'll see you guys later.